I think they should be. I think this guy should not be Carlton.
And I'm gonna disagree with you on that, but we can get into it.
This guy should not be Carlton. No offense to the actor. No offense to the actor, but I don't know, man. What is up, everybody? It's your boy Corn. Tonight we have a special guest on a special episode. Jaren, you want to introduce yourself?
What up? It's Heavy J from the Comrades. That's basically it. I talk a bunch of shit on another podcast with this motherfucker. That's basically it. Oh, can we cuss on here?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I mean, last time we saw Heavy J on here, it's been probably like well over a year or so.
Bro, it's a year.
A year or two maybe. Yeah. So, but yeah, we have Heavy J here tonight, and guys, we're gonna be talking about this Bel-Air show. Now, I heard about this show in a matter of like months ago. Like, this wasn't like I didn't hear about this show a year ago or 2 years ago or anything like that. I heard about this show literally like 3 or 4 months ago. And I was like, it's kind of weird they're doing a more dramatic approach. And then I did my research, and I found out that Will actually, like, the plan, they actually wanted to do a more serious Bel-Air back in the day, but couldn't because of the whole, that was the whole sitcom era. So, business, whatever. And I was kind of hesitant on this show. And it's two people. One person is the reason why I started watching the show, and the other person is the reason why I continue to watch the show. And the person that's responsible for me to start to watch the show is my brother Chris. As you guys know, he was on here a couple times last year, talking Marvel stuff and X-Men stuff.
Shout out to Chris, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Chris. And he texted me one day. He said, "Check out Bel-Air." He was like, "It's better than what I expected." And I was like, "That show looks whack as fuck. Looks terrible. I ain't fucking with that shit. I'm gonna keep the good version, which is the Will Smith version from the 90s that we grew up on." But then I just decided, I was like, you know what? I already got Peacock, obviously for wrestling and everything. I click on episode 1, and then I watch it. And I'm like, you know what? It's nothing I haven't seen before. We kind of know the whole story about Will and how he gets developed. But then you continue to watch more into, and when you're watching episode 1, I don't know about you, Jaren, but when I'm sitting there watching episode 1, it felt like that episode was like the longest episode of the season.
I would actually, I would agree with that. Thinking back, I'll agree with that. And B, after I watched episode 1, I almost didn't want to continue watching the show. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, bro, like he really just gonna be some dumb, like,
that's what I'm saying.
Good, like, bullshit. Like, really? Is that what's in here? I was like, man, I don't know. But I kept watching. Yeah.
Because I felt the exact same way, because in episode 1, I was like, all right, I kind of seen, like, look, guys, I got spoiled through Power. And then I started watching Snowfall after Power. And I was just like, again, I got spoiled. Like, it's just like, okay, I kind of seen some of this series, it's whatever. What makes me want to care about the character? What makes me want to root for the main character? Episode 1 did not make me want to root for Will. It didn't. I was just like, this is going to be one of those, one of those things that should have just left alone.
Yeah, for sure.
But then I was like, well, you know what? Here's episode 2. I'll watch it. Whatever. I actually started to like the show in episode 2.
Did too, bro.
I started like, I ain't gonna lie, man. And you know what? Everything, I wouldn't say everything. I wasn't, just going to the show just wanting to hate everything about it. But I kind of went into the show wanting to hate everything about it, just because I was like, you know what? I was so in love with the old Fresh Prince, but I was like, you know what? They're gonna try and, whatever they're gonna do with this Bel-Air, whatever they have to do. Big company making a mainstream television show. You guys do the math. You know what I'm talking. Mm-hmm. But and we're gonna get into a couple of those things too, that they're the narrative stuff that they're pushing in this show as well. As you already know how we do. All right, you already know how we do. So there's gonna be a couple things in there as well. But to really get into the story and to get into these characters, you got to start off with the relationship between Will and Carlton. I mean, this dude gets there,
yeah,
and again, I'm thinking to myself like, we're really gonna go through this, you know, the goofy Carlton, and then the flashy Will. Like, do we really? But it's a more serious side, and it's gonna come off super cheesy. It didn't. This is something, and to me, as much as because I'm gonna get into Carlton, because I really do believe. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I think they should be. I think this guy should not be Carlton.
And I'm gonna disagree with you on that, but we can get into it.
This guy should not be Carlton. No offense to the actor. No offense to the actor. But I don't know, man. We need someone else to portray this character, because he just comes off just to look, not to sound, I guess, whatever. If anybody gets offended of me saying the way the guy I'm not making fun of the way he looks. I'm just saying the look of the character Carlton is just like, I don't know. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I'm like, maybe we need a different actor to play the guy to make it. But I see where they're going with the character. Like, until like not just the look, but I see where they're going with the character, and I like where they're going with the character, and I like the problems that he has, aside from the fucking pills or Xanax, whatever the fuck this dude was taking for, and besides that whole thing, I like Carlton. I like his personality. I like the problems that he has, and I like the issues that they're showing us that he has, because that's an everyday issue for some black dudes that are in those spaces and that grew up in those spaces.
100%.
And so Carlton's still there, but Uncle Phil is definitely like my favorite character. Like, Uncle Phil to me is my favorite character of the show. Favorite character of the show.
I'm gonna have to go. Damn. I mean, I'm gonna have to like agree, but I have something to say about Uncle Phil. I kind of want to say a little bit about Carlton first.
Yes, please do. Yep.
I see why. So I don't know if you know, but I don't know if you might have even told me this, but I'm pretty sure there was a hashtag on Twitter called #UglyCarlton. And like that.
I did not see that.
Yeah, apparently a #UglyCarlton has been like running through Black Twitter, whatever that is. Black Twitter, as they call it. And because people basically said the same thing you said, like they didn't buy the look. And not only that, this is a thing that you might not know unless you're in the black community, but his type of black guy, quote unquote, type of black guy is like the most disliked person probably on earth. if I'm gonna be honest, like, because
wait, you mean like by look or personality?
Personality.
Okay.
I would say and the way they did him being super dark skinned, like he's like obviously like definitely like some sort of African or something. Like he's not like, I wouldn't say he's like American black, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like he looks African to me. Like they the fact that they have, you know, the dark. Now I don't know if your viewers know this, but there's a grading scale of blackness in the black community. So like if you're going to get a rise, if you're going to want to get a rise out of people, you're going to make the darkest person you can find act the whitest in those terms. And that's what they did with Carlton. Now I don't like using the terms acting white, acting black, etc., but that's what it is in the community. That's what goes on. That's how we've separated ourselves within the community. And Hollywood knows this, and now Hollywood is portraying this on TV for everybody to watch. But so what they've done is they've pissed everybody off with this Carlton character because they made him super dark and African looking. Basically, he's basically an African guy, but he quote unquote talks white and quote unquote acts white. He don't act how he's supposed to act. And remember, I don't know if you remember, was it episode 2 or 3? Will came into the locker room and they were all singing like "Hot Nigga," you know what I'm saying? The song,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
And then the white dude was saying the word,
Yeah.
and Carl didn't say anything, and Will was like, "Hey, yo, man, what's up, man?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That whole thing. Like they started him off like that, but then later on, he had his own experience with that shit. He had his own racism experience, and you know, that kind of, I think that kind of got people off his back a little bit on the show. But like, man, just people take like, I don't know, people take that stuff too serious.
Let's be clear though. There's a difference between people like me though. There's just like, hey, like I just don't buy it. Like I'm not one of those people who's like, get him off my screen or nothing like that. Like right. How Black Twitter is, you know. But to me, I was just like, I love what they're doing with the character.
I agree.
All the personalities and everything. Again, aside from the whole snorting the shit because of anxiety, I think that's. But we're gonna get into that as well.
That's the epitome. But you know why they did it though, right?
Why?
That's the epitome of quote unquote acting white. Like black people don't be snorting shit. You know what I'm saying? They don't be snorting. He's snorting white people pills. He's snorting.
Okay. All right. So here's my question to you. Would you take that out? Would you leave that in there if it was up to you? Like, would you leave that part of his character in there?
For what they, yeah, I would. For what they did. For if I was going for what they were going for, I would have done everything they did with him, to be honest. If I was going for him to be essentially like a pseudo villain, essentially, which is how he kind of started out. But I mean, if you get into the show, actually, he's kind of I can tell you, like the way his character's developed is great. Like, it is. He's one of my favorite characters on the show, but I like what they did with the character, and for that, I think that even the actor is fine for the role. We can get in that because I know you said you didn't really like him.
Yes, no offense to the actor, he's obviously doing the best he can. He's a really good actor. I'm just saying, like, for the personality, it's just like when I watch the show, I have, again, it's an expectation versus what, you know, we shouldn't let our expectations, you know what I mean, get in the way of what the director or whoever's the storytellers, the way they want to tell the story, obviously, which is why I'm never like, get them off my screen, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. It's they're telling the story. It's just, if it were up to me, I'm like, dude, I'd have to pick someone that looks. Will looks just like Will.
He really does. Yeah.
They at least made. I mean, the Ty Diggs looking dude who looks like Uncle Phil.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they kind of have him look like, you know, if Uncle Phil was Uncle Phil today, that's kind of maybe, you know, what he. Young, you know, chiseled, bald dude. He still got the bald hair. I mean, the bald head and the beard. So, he's still in law and all that stuff. You know, Vivian. You knew they were gonna go with a dark skinned Vivian. I mean, I know it shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. But you knew after what happened with the old Fresh Prince, they weren't gonna fuck up with this.
They weren't gonna make that mistake again.
There's
gonna be a lot of quote unquote from me in this show because
did you not catch that though in the first episode? Did you not say that to yourself, or did you not say like, of course they knew black people were gonna be up for it if they had a light skin.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, they did. I was like, they did a majority like darker skin cast. Like, I was kind of surprised at that too when I first watched it. Like, that's something you don't necessarily, I guess, see.
Yeah.
Even in the old Fresh Prince, like, not everybody was the complexions that they are now. Everybody's a little bit lighter, actually, in the comedy, I guess you could call it. But and this, keep in mind, this doesn't necessarily matter to us, but this matters a lot to the community. All these little, you know, all these little mannerisms that the characters have, their skin colors, like how they act, what they do, all that really is like. They've really dissected the black community with this show, and they're putting it on display for people to watch. And it's so many subliminals that you wouldn't get unless you're black, frankly, or you've been around a lot of people that you just won't get.
Even some of them I miss.
Yeah.
You know, like the one you mentioned earlier. But the way they do these characters, man, I was not again after there are some good things in the first episode, and I would have to go back and rewatch these episodes to actually dissect each episode by episode, specifically. But there were some good parts in the first episode. Like obviously, at least how Will reacts to actually getting to Bel-Air, the way he meets Jazz too. Like I mean, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
But look, there are some things that I'm like, fam, I don't know if I would put that into this fucking show, man.
Give me an example of one.
Well, the first one being having Ashley being 12 years old and being bi.
I agree with you there. That's definitely something I wouldn't put in the show either.
I know why they did it.
Because
you all know why I did. But it's just something I just feel like it's just too much. It's just a little too much. And you're using a character that's a little too young to be portraying that, at least to the world, essentially, to everybody that watches this.
But I will well, sorry to interrupt you, but I will say even though they did that, they did at least give some halfway decent dialogue behind it to put a little tiny bow on top of it. Like they did, like at least the dialogue with her and like the one chick in the I don't know if it was that influencer house or whatever, but Ashley and like the one chick was like, oh, they'll decide. Like it was basically some cookie cutter dialogue, right? That type of stuff. But they at least didn't just do it and then didn't give any dialogue behind it. They at least had like some like a typical discussion that you would have with a family member or with somebody about it. They kind of tried to throw that in a little bit, which
that's true.
I'll give them that. It was just, to me, it was just as like, well, go figure as the actual act itself. But
yeah,
I
mean, it's just every show I watch, and it goes all the way back. And yes, the only reason why I'm mentioning, the Powers and the Snowfalls and the Atlantas is because we're talking about a majority, mostly black show, right?
Basically,
so I'm just doing the comparisons of the ones that are coming out in this day and age as well, the big ones. And every single show, it's like gay this, gay that, and it just makes it a part of their character. And I'm just like, bruh, do we have to make it a part of their character? Like, do we have to? I don't care if they're gay. I don't care if they're bi. But why does it have to be a part of the entire plot of that character? I will never understand that. I'll never understand that. But again, but the reason why I hate using the word trigger because it sounds like super negative, but the reason why it somewhat triggers me sometimes when I watch stuff like this, and then it's just like, boom, this person's gay, and it's just like out of nowhere, you know what I mean? It's because the impressionable shows, right? If you see the way people out here in these streets act with shows with Euphoria when they come out, and after watching shows like that, bro, you will know how fucking influential these shows are. That people watch. It is crazy. Crazy. Bro. So yes, that's the reason why sometimes I get a little bit of an uproar when I see, oh, Ashley, 12 years old, oh, she has a crush on somebody. Guess what? It's a girl. And it's just like,
and now that's her whole entire character, because her character really didn't have much of an identity before then, and now they've given, now that's all that's pretty much, like, ever since that happened, they've barely showed her. So like that's all you got in your head is Ashley now is you're bi, you're gay.
Facts. Now, and to answer, here's part B to your question, or part B of my answer to your question, because I have a second example, which really, really, really kind of took me out of the first episode, because he met Lisa. Will meets Lisa in the first episode, and Jaren, I think you know where the fuck I'm going with this. If you go somewhere, if you move, if you're in Will's position and you meet a fine ass girl, and either she tells you or your cousin tells you, yo, that's my girl, or that's my ex, are you still fucking with her?
It would, I mean, if I'm going to a cousin who I haven't really fucked with in a long time, and he said that's my ex, I would be like, how long y'all been broken up? I would kind of honestly be like, I would kind of pass on it anyway, just because, you know, I mean, fuck, I'm going to LA, like I really don't need her, you know, basically, like there's literally a chick everywhere you look in LA. So like, or Bel-Air, whatever the fuck. Still, either way, it's still, you know what I'm saying, nothing but, I'm sure nothing but beautiful women in Bel-Air. I mean, it's an rich upscale area.
Yeah.
Typically where beautiful women get. So, I mean, yeah. I would honestly, now think about it, I'd probably be like, yeah, you know what? I mean, all right, that's straight. That's yours, bro. You know, you know what I'm saying, dude? You know, all right, cool.
Fam. I am not, look, I don't even like, I don't know. I'm just a weird dude, but I don't even like, even if I work with a dude, I don't even like talking to the same chick as a dude I work with or go to school with.
I'm on that too, because
just like, and then if you're a family member, I'm like, yo, look, hey, you can have it. Like, there's plenty of other ones to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To make this another freaking plot point, and then for Carlton to be a whole pilled out, drugged out, fucking jealous cousin trying to kill with, like, I'm just like, bro, what are we watching here, bro? But again, I had to get a little more accustomed to the show, because after episode 2, he's still in this jealous rage. Will's still not backing off of Lisa. Look, I don't want to call Will a simp, but Jesus Christ, man. If your cousin's going that far, why are you still gonna try and? But anyways.
I mean, I do.
Go back to what I was saying before, where my brother got me into the show to at least start to watch the show. I got to episode 2 and I was like, I could chill on it for a little bit. But the second person that I talked to about this show and it got me to continue the show is Jaren. And you told me, you said it's an interesting show. It's you know, just keep watching, whatever. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep watching. Sure enough, this show's pretty good.
It's really good, man. I like it. Yeah, I think it's really good, honestly.
It. I wouldn't say it's way better than what I thought it was, but it's way better than it should be, and what it sounded like it was going to be.
Yes, yes. And not only, if you remember, it got pretty shit reviews on the first few episodes. Like, people hated the show. Like, there's still bad reviews on it. Like, I don't know. Really, I don't know why. But again, I think that goes back to this. This is what happens when you target shows at really intricate black issues. It's not going to get the reviews that it probably should get, simply because people don't understand it. They're missing all the subliminals of it. Like, like if you're like I said, if you're black or if you grew up in a black community, like, you'll get the majority of the subliminals, and it's going to be a way better show to you. And you don't even have to, or you have to be watching with somebody who can tell you, like, hey, like, so that means, like, the reason why Carlton's like this is because XYZ, like, and then these people have a problem with people who act like this because blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it just makes it like that much deeper of a show. And then the way they portray each character is also,
it hits all the angles too.
It does hit all the angles.
Like, I mean, you're hitting the Hillary. She's an influencer. So you're hitting the whole social media angle with Hillary, and she's already fucked up. And then you got Jazz, so you got the dude that's trying to get with the influencer. So they're telling that story too, from a perspective. Go ahead.
But how? All right, I gotta ask you this: how fucking annoyed were you when Jazz went with her to go talk to the Kylo dude? And he said, yeah, and then all these people came up and said they fuck with the shit, and she was kind of like, oh well, never mind.
Yeah.
And he was like, and then they ended up fucking, and then they ended up like kind of like getting pressure.
Man, would you just take the damn video down? All right.
Actually, it wouldn't hurt to hear what they have to say, but just make it quick, Philo. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And Jazz, you can still get us those drinks. I'll be right back.
The next episode.
Like, if I was Jazz, I'd be like, obviously this is what I'm dealing with. Like, you know what I'm saying? Deuces. I don't care how fine you are. Just deuces. if all you've done was not even a date, and now they back. Now they was back together and shit. So or together, whatever the fuck, back fucking with each other. I don't know, man. But that's again.
Yeah, but they are telling that story though, and I think they're telling at least a somewhat accurate story of someone in that position. You know, especially like a black woman in that position.
For sure.
I mean, dude, that debacle that she got, I thought this was smart writing, by the way, because this is some real shit that would probably happen, which is probably why they wrote into the show, where she put that company on blast and called them racist, and then it started this whole uproar, and then her mom had to put the fire out. Vivian had to put the fire out. Like, I was like, bro, that's something that would really happen. Like, I really fucked with that part of the plot. And then you got Vivian. She's got her issues too, man. But
my gosh, bro, yeah,
man, like she's look, she's dealing with a lot. And you see halfway through the season, because for the people watching, obviously the season's still going on, so we're not done with season 1 yet. But you see halfway through the season that she's dealing with, you know, letting go of her career early on and stuff like that. Basically like motherhood and being a wife and stuff like that. And then at the point where you see where you start to think where her and Uncle Phil are going to like kind of divide a little bit. And then you see Michael Ealy's character, old dude from Barbershop, for people who don't know who the name Michael Ealy, where his character shows up and he's like this art dude or whatever. And it seems like he's trying to swindle his way in there. And then Uncle Phil, he kind of gives you hope a little bit, but with him and Viv, when they have that talk, when he kind of follows her to that art gallery joint, that one episode, which I thought was actually a pretty cool movie. I went to Twitter after that. I saw people dragging him, saying he was following him, and no man should be. I'm like, look, man,
I got something. I got. Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta fight for your wife, man. I mean,
they've been married how long, bro? Like, of course.
Yeah, man.
Of course.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What are you saying?
No. I want to hear it. What you gotta say?
I'm gonna say it here, and you heard it first before any of these other people start to say it, because I don't know if y'all watch the Comrades or other cats, but things we say typically happen, right? Uncle Phil is the most disrespected man on this entire show, and I'm gonna tell you why. Number one, the whole debacle, whatever the fuck, between Vivian and Uncle Phil with the art stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was coming at him talking about, you know, you basically like it was his fault that she put her career aside, and it's his fault that he wanted to provide for her and a family, and she resented him for that the whole time they were married, and all this other bullshit, right? And he comes back at her and he says, well, I never told you to stop doing art. He goes, you were
stressing yourself out.
You're stressing yourself out. You're XYZ. All I said was that I can provide for us so that you can basically relax. You know what I'm saying? And she's the one that basically decided to cancel out all that shit, right? So not only on top of that, he nobody wants to help him with the campaign. Now, granted, he had to drag Will and Carlton to help him with the campaign, but at the end of the day, like, again with Vivian, when there's a part where he needed more money to fund the campaign, and she got pissed that he took money out of his account, because again, he's the breadwinner. Clearly, he's the provider.
Yep.
For the entire family.
That was the part where they were sitting down, and the part
where they were sitting down, and he was like, I basically took the money and put it in the campaign, and then she got upset with him and that, and then goes and retaliates and goes and fucks with the art gallery dude anyway. So I mean, just for that reason alone, like, a man who has, at least as they're portraying. Now, don't get me wrong, Uncle Phil's he's a little twisted too. He's definitely got a control problem. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, it's a guy who has provided for his family and has a set of standards that he adheres everybody to and expects everybody to act a certain way, because that's his domain. That's what he's created.
What if I were to tell you that he has to have a control problem? No,
I would agree with you.
To me, looking at it, I feel like he needs to have that control problem.
I would agree with you. At that level, yeah. You've got to keep a tight ship. But that's the life that they want. That basically they agreed to lead. Whether they agreed to it verbally or they just agreed to it by going along with it. The government gets you in the same way. Implied contract, implied agreement. You agreed to it by doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Just do what I asked. I'm not that kind of brother. Doesn't sit right with me. Too bad. You work for me. Understood.
So again, you're right though. I do agree with he's got to have a little bit of a control problem because now wanting to kill Will's father, I don't know about that.
I don't know because I had to go back because I don't know if he meant he just said make sure he doesn't get anywhere near Will.
Bro, so, the look Jeffrey.
I know, but I watched. There's a lot of shows where you're like, look, you have to pay attention to literally what they say. So I don't know if this is one of those shows yet when it comes to that. When it comes to stuff like that.
That's fair.
Yes, I mean obviously the general term, like that, your general meaning would be like, yo, take this motherfucker, make sure this motherfucker ain't. But I don't know, man, because wouldn't he have killed him before? Like,
no, because they weren't.
The only thing is that the mom showed up and started mentioning his dad and saying that she wanted to tell him about his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow that would make Will want to go find his dad. But I don't know. And this is kind of weird too, because I was going to talk about this a little bit later, but we'll talk about this now, which is that this whole because if you go back, which is that whole scene, by the way, like the Will's dad, what's his name, Lou, like they shows up, and this is what season 4 of Fresh Prince, right?
Yeah, something like that. And
he was like, this wasn't the first season, so I'm this whole thing. I feel like it's happened a little too early in like the series, anyways.
I agree.
And I don't know, man. This is a little way. I wouldn't say way too early, but this is just a little too early to try and bring that factor because you still haven't really established that Will and Uncle Phil. You still have to establish that relationship. That that's still not established yet. Like Uncle Phil to me he's my favorite character of this show, man. Like again, like this dude is pretty much. Like he should have been Ghost. Like this is who Ghost should have been from in Power, man. Like just because, like this, he's a hustler, man.
He is.
He's fighting for everything he has, and he's trying to keep everything as well. Like he even told who I think it was either Will. I mean not Will. It was either Carlton or Hillary. He told one of them. He was like, "Y'all are fucking up." He was like, "You want to do me a favor? You want to help me with this election or with this debate or whatever the fuck?" He was like, stay out of fucking trouble. Like, stop getting this shit. And they just, bro, like you said, he's the most disrespected character on the show. And that's part of the reason why it makes him my favorite character.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because he's the one that has the most to lose.
Yep.
Because the second he falls, now I know we're talking about a show, but we're talking about in general terms as well. The second a man like that falls, what happens? What's the woman do? 9 times out of 10, we know there's some rare women out there that will stay and keep that ship afloat. But how many women? What are most women doing?
Gone.
They jump in that ship.
Yep.
And you see the way the kids are acting. It seems like the only kid that would stay would be Will.
Exactly. Exactly. Because again, bro, this is another intricate subliminal black community shit, bro. The black father is the most disrespected man in the black community. And the kid who grew up without the father sees the value in the black father who's disrespected.
Jesus
while he's he was simultaneously taught to disrespect his father who wasn't there. Like that's the shit people are not gonna pick up on the show. That like unless you seen it or lived it, you're not gonna know.
Facts. Damn, bro.
Like that's what. So you saying that is a perfect example of like they're like Will and Uncle Phil's relationship. Like he's like he never had. He's I mean how would he not be a role model to any man, white or black? You know what I'm saying? Like honestly.
Facts, dude. Facts. Because you look at the relationship between Uncle Phil and Carlton, and it's just like Uncle Phil is trying to give him wisdom. Like every single, you never really see Uncle Phil kind of. I mean, you see him sometimes when Carlton really fucks up. You see him scold him like verbally, like, "Yo, dude, like, stop it," like you fucking everything up for me. But like most of the times, you see him and Carlton have dialogue. It's him giving Carlton wisdom. Or he's proud of Carlton or whatever, and Carlton's such a little shit that he just completely dismisses it, and then he's just like, I don't know, man. Like I love the way Carlton's written, and obviously I'm sure we're gonna have to see that relationship grow. But I don't ever remember in the original show Carlton and Uncle Phil really having like a on and off relationship or even like a bad relationship at all. I mean, obviously they had their issues, one here and there, but
Carlton was Uncle Phil.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the same way in this one, honestly.
Yeah,
look up to him.
But I do want to ask you this, just as like like if you had a nephew that moved in with you and your family, and their best friend got shot, would you fly them out the very next week to come visit your nephew?
Was that the very next week that he got after he got shot?
It was a short amount of time. It was like, hey, Will, if you go take out the trash with Carlton for 2 days, your friend who just got shot, who just came home from the hospital from getting shot.
Yeah, I guess it was a short time frame, right? I guess it was a short time frame, huh?
I was like, man, that is a.
I don't think I would do that, bro.
But however, I do like what they did. Remember, I think it was Don Cheadle that played his old best friend in the original one, right? The one that came and visited him in like the original Fresh Prince. It was like Don Cheadle or like no, it wasn't Eddie Murphy. It had
it might have been Don Cheadle.
Either Cheadle or Kadeem Hardison or somebody. But I think this happened in the original Fresh Prince too. I know like one of his old best friends came and saw him. It was somebody.
Yep. And they had a falling out.
Yeah, and they had like the whole falling out because he wanted to stay. Yep. And so I feel like they did that pretty well in this one too. And then he let that whole thing slip up. See, this is why you can't tell niggas shit, bro. All right, so Will told the best friend. Remember, Will told us. I forget the best friend's name. I was just calling best friend. But Will told the best friend about. Well, he already knew the whole reason why Will was out there, right? But he kept telling him everything else after Will went out to Bel-Air. Mm-hmm. So then this dude gets drunk at I think it was one of Hillary's parties or whatever. Which that was some fuck shit too because they had cameras everywhere. Remember? Yeah. Phil got caught. He got caught slipping up.
Yeah.
And then that was definitely some fuck shit. But the friend told Carlton something like he kind of gave him a little subtle hint of why Will was really out there. And then that's when Carlton kept asking him, like, you're not really out here for a better education or some dumb shit, right? Mm-hmm. But again, that's another that's just another thing. It was just like, man, Will fucked up, man.
Right. And the thing that annoys me, so my bad. The thing that annoys me about that situation is that even if he tells people, he doesn't tell them the truth. He makes it sound worse than it was.
Yeah.
Like he didn't say it was my boy's gun, and basically what did even I don't even remember what the fuck happened. He picked it up like after the fact, and like he never shot it. Like
no, he shot. No, he picked up. He shot it in the air.
Oh, that's right. He shot it in the air.
And, yeah, because his boy was getting jumped by like 12 dudes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, I was like, yeah. I was like, bro, I probably wouldn't even shot in the air at that point. I probably would have. I don't know. I'm like, look, man, you got to help your boy out.
Yeah.
You got to do something, huh? But yeah, but you're right. Like they did make it. He does make it seem like it. But I think the reason why is because he knows the severity. At least he should know the severity. If people find out what Uncle Phil did, so that he did to get him out of jail. Remember?
Basically, yeah.
That's the most important part.
Yep. And I gotta say, I do worry that Uncle Phil's wheeling and dealing behind the scenes is gonna catch up to him.
Oh, it does. It's a TV show. You already know it's gonna. You already know they're gonna expose the shit out of him.
I'm just wondering how and when.
Yeah,
that's
gonna be very interesting. It's gonna be very, very interesting.
Shit's coming to a head now, bro. Honestly, like this next episode 9. So we're basically going off of episodes 1 through 8. But yeah, episode 9. This should be very interesting, bro.
Jeffrey, man, this dude. They made this dude a straight killer in this show, bro. They made this dude the silent fucking assassin in this show.
Yeah.
And now, so now they're I don't know if they're gonna introduce the dad or not. I have no idea. But now he's been tasked to go kill Will's dad. But then Will goes in and asks for him to go find his dad. I think Jeffrey's gonna. Did Jeffrey have a son in the original show? He had a son in the original show, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Did he come visit or some shit like that, or a daughter or something like that?
It was a son, I think. He came to visit.
Because he mentions in this episode that he was like, I think about my son. He was like, if you were in my position, I think he said if you were in. Oh yeah, he said if you were in my position, what would you do? He was like, I have a son. He was like, you got Carlton. He was like, you think Will will want you to do something like that? And then that's when when Uncle Phil, that monster came out into him. He said, nigga, that ain't what I pay you for.
Right.
Like, I pay you to get that work done.
Yeah.
But I think Jeffrey's gonna make the right decision and obviously, try and help Will's dad and help Will.
Yeah. I think he is too, because remember he was getting ready to put a letter of resignation, it looked like, on the desk. And then Will saw him and came in. Remember, he had pulled out that letter out of his suit jacket.
I'm glad you said that, because I was trying to look, as many shows and movies and shit that I watch, I still miss shit. And so like I was trying to figure out what that letter was. And I thought it was
letter.
I was like, is that a letter to say, like, is this like a letter of, his letter of being deceased? I have no idea. So I was thinking, like, what the fuck is that letter? Like, is it saying like, hey, got the job done or some shit? I don't know. And then then you mentioned the letter of resignation, and I'm like, oh well, shit, that would make perfect sense.
Because remember, because Uncle Phil said, I don't give a shit. You work for me, basically. Like, give it the fuck that. Like, you work for me. And so, and then the look that Jeffrey had when he was going to put that thing on the desk, it had to been to me. It just had to been a letter of resignation.
Good. How do you feel about them making Jeffrey a killer on the show though?
I mean, I
fuck with it. I really do fuck with it.
Yeah, I kind of like it, man. Honestly, yeah, I kind of like it. I think his character is. He keeps the same cool factor that Jeffrey had, but he's just like savage and cool. Basically.
Yeah, like he's always been like that. Yeah, like that. Yeah, like very subtle kind of person.
Yeah, yeah. I think they did a good job at like they did some. Some redoings, I guess, if you want to call it, of the characters, but I think they did a good job with them, like for what they're trying to portray the modern era.
Yeah, because Hillary was always an attention seeker, we know. Ashley's always been like the kind of curious or wondrous, I guess a lot of people relate to, because they were growing up as she was growing up on the show. Will, obviously that just goes without saying. Dude, I felt like they did a great job with what's his name? Jabari Banks. Which is funny because Banks, but and he's really from Philly.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, bro.
I watched his Breakfast Club interview this morning.
I saw part of it. Apparently he freestyled and it was trash, but hey, at least he did it.
But what was I gonna say? But dude, I thought he was casted perfectly for this show.
I agree. He's got a good personality, and he's like I like the way he's matured too. Like, he's actually very, very smart.
Yeah,
picks up on a lot of things that characters do, and like is not afraid to call people out too. So
yeah.
The only thing that he does that I don't like is he definitely he gets a little too soft for Lisa. But other than that, man,
like I said, man, I don't want to go too far as calling him a simp, man. But I'm just like, bro,
no, he's not. But I think he's like, a little too.
Yeah, but to me, there's I don't know, man. I hate that storyline, dude. That one, and Jaren, I know it makes sense and everything, but that storyline and the whole Carlton pills, like I'm just like, I don't know. And I do want to give a little bit of a reason for that. I don't know if I gave a reason earlier for the whole pill thing, but every show that I watch, everybody deals with their problems with drugs.
Yep.
Which is crazy. And I watch a lot of shit. Shows, movies, all that. It's just like everybody's go-to is either alcohol or drugs. And it's just like, you don't deal with your problems any other way. Like, they don't show anybody dealing with their problems any other way. No, I'm not saying no movies do that and no shows do that. But it's very, very little. It just seems like every fucking mainstream show is drugs. And it's like, there's and I'm not saying we should have drugs on our screen or anything or no shit like that. I'm just saying, like, why is it the excuse of everybody's, the reason why, you know, this person is dealing with anxiety, this person's dealing with depression, this person's dealing with this and that and the third, and their only outlet is drugs? No, that's not accurate. There's a lot of things people do that deal with their shit, but I don't know. But that's my reasoning for not really. It's just like, especially when they're telling such a great story and an important story with such important characters. And I'm actually kind of glad. And I was going to say this a little bit for the end, or I was getting to the end, but is that Bel-Air, to me, I'm glad they did this.
Yeah, same.
I don't know how long this show's going to last. I don't know if I don't think they got renewed for a second season yet. They probably will. Who knows?
I hope so, man. It's a really good show.
Yeah.
I think.
But I don't know how long this show goes, but even if they do 1 season or 3 seasons or 6, I'm glad they made the show because, like you said, the issues that they're bringing to the communities that are watching the show needs to be said on screen. It needs to be on a platform like this. Like, this isn't some rinky-dink YouTube show. No, this is, or YouTube Red show, whatever the fuck they call it now. This is, even though it's on Peacock, which is still a stupid fucking name for a streaming service, it's on a mainstream streaming network. There's a lot of people that are going to say, and it's got the mainstream name of Bel-Air on it.
Yeah.
So you already know it's going to bring eyes, it's going to bring viewers, it's going to bring people to watch. Now, what they think after that is whatever, but at least your message, at least the real messages and the real stories that should be told in some of our perspectives is out there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. For better or for worse. I mean, generally, we know how it goes, right? But
yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, at least it's accurate, and at least it's not.
For the most part.
For the most part, yes. For the most part, it's accurate. Let's be clear. And at least it's for the most part accurate, and it highlights a lot of things that people, I guess, don't really think that Black people would go through, I guess you could say. Like the whole Carlton thing, like he's a very specific archetype of a Black dude. Like like we all, like, Corn, I know you know at least a couple people like that, and so do I. Like, it's just somebody that's always been outed in the community. So you go where you wanted, you know what I mean? And that's what he's done. And then he got ridiculed for it until he got, until he's. But I don't know. The weird thing about that is, like, the one thing they didn't do with him that would be more typical is he's always just kind of hit on Black chicks. Like, he's never, like, you never seen him with any other race of chick or anything like that. And the one interracial relationship they did show, the dude had cheated on his dying wife with the white woman and got her pregnant. Got her pregnant right after.
Oh yeah, you talking about the
police chief,
fucking chief. Yeah. Lisa's dad, right?
Mm-hmm. Lisa's dad. Yeah.
Damn, dude, I forgot about that.
Dude, that's some fucked up shit too, though.
It is. Yeah, it is.
It's just very interesting.
Yeah.
like I said, the way they chose to use certain, I guess you call it a trope, like certain tropes, certain themes in the black community, like the ones that they wanted to make worse, they made worse, and the ones they didn't. You know what I mean? So they kind of like they brought them up, but they kind of manipulated them in a way that would bring more reaction versus another would be more subtle, but it'd still be, a thing. So
facts.
Again, very interesting the way that they did it.
I want to ask you though. I mean, obviously there's so many seasons to Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
And maybe you can't compare this to Bel-Air, but compare this, Bel-Air to Fresh Prince. Is this something that you're like, you know what? I'm glad they used the Bel-Air, or is this something that they I mean, because they could have easily done something like this on its own.
Mm-hmm.
But are you glad they used the Bel-Air name?
Am I glad they used the name? That's a good question. Yeah, because I think it was well done. Now, if it was poorly done, would I say that? Probably not. I'm just gonna be real, but I think since I think it's well done anyway. There's a lot of people who think differently, but since we both can pretty much agree that it's a pretty good show, I don't think that it's a bad thing to use Bel-Air. They could have
done.
What's that?
I said it didn't start out that way. Episode 1, I was done.
I feel you. Yeah. I was really.
Like, I don't know if I want to continue this shit.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, they really ruined this shit. And then as you get into it, you realize it's literally a retelling of the culture now. Like it's literally how stuff is now.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't know, man. It's I think that I can't say I'm mad if they use the Bel-Air name. I really can't. And they were able to make it distinguishable as well from
That's true. I mean, Will's still a basketball player. He's still dealing with the, the dad thing. He's still, the mom flew out to go see him. Which I felt like that was also something else that was a little too early to happen as well in the first season. I felt like that could have been like a second season or third season kind of thing. But I the only reason I'm saying this is because I'm afraid that they're just going to blow their wad in season 1.
Exactly.
Like you're gonna have that iconic, because you got to remember that iconic scene with Will and Uncle Phil after his dad leaves from Fresh Prince.
Yep.
That's not just one of the most iconic scenes in sitcoms. That's one of the most iconic scenes in front of a camera in general.
Facts.
TV or movies.
Facts.
I mean, to do that in season 1 with Will and Uncle Phil, to have that conversation in season 1,
and it was way less like. I mean, it helped them build their relationship with each other, but it's like really. Yeah, I agree.
You gotta build up to it though.
I agree. It seems like they're trying to squish every single dope episode that there was in the old Fresh Prince into this season.
Yeah,
trying to retell too many things at the same time, but
facts.
I don't know. That's what it feels like to me. It just feels like, like you said, dude. Like if there were to be a season 3, by that time they would almost damn near be out of shit. It had to be a whole different new thing at that point. You know what I'm saying?
That's my only fear, is that this show's gonna get really stale really fast if it gets a second season, and now they actually have to tell some stories, and like they actually have to do. I'm not saying that they're not doing it, because they're doing plenty of work in the first season, but I feel like maybe they're doing a little too much in the first season, because you're trying to tell everything all at once, and then now you're getting, you're trying to tell the story from season 4 and then pull from another episode in season 5, and it's just like you still got to focus on your characters and their development and their relationships with each other.
Exactly.
Before you start just pulling Will and Carlton, every, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I do like that dynamic now. They really built that relationship in this season already. The whole 180 between Will and Carlton with each other.
I'm happy about it, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm happy about it. And then it hit them differently too when I think it was Aunt Viv said that they both had wanted brothers at some point.
Oh, yeah. Will's mom said that. Yeah. I was gonna mention that. I was like, because that was a little bit of kind of not necessarily foreshadowing, because it had already happened, but I felt like that was kind of like the what do you call it? The icing on top of the cake
Mm-hmm.
or the last cherry on top for in terms of kind of capping that off of. Wow, I really do look at him as like a brother because you live under the same roof. You both cut, you know what I mean? So crazy. I did feel like obviously the dialogue is still a little bit cheesy, but I feel like it kind of does need to be a little bit cheesy to kind of keep you to kind of. I don't want it to be I don't want it to be too serious of a show either. You know what I mean? Because then it's
not. I don't think.
But yeah. So you still need the cheesy dialogue.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, look, I fuck with the show. I like Bel-Air. It's not a show that I'm like, at least not yet, where I'm like, I can't wait for season 2 of Bel-Air. But it's a show that I like. It comes out every week, so I'm just gonna watch it. Obviously, continue to watch it every week.
Mm-hmm.
I think it only got 10 episodes, so it's only like 2-3 episodes left. So
is it only 10? I thought it was 12.
Oh, is it 12?
We can figure that out real quick.
Yeah, so it might be a 12 episode season. If so, that's awesome. But either way, which one did we pass? Episode 8, right? So yeah, so we got episode 9 this week, later on this week. It's how many?
It is 10.
Oh, it's 10 episodes. So we have 2 episodes left then. So 9 and 10.
Oh shit! Yeah.
We're gonna have to spice up these last 2 episodes. It's gonna have to spice up.
I feel like the father stuff is not going anywhere. I feel like that's going to come back. The way they left, there's no way that's just not like, you know what I mean. There's no way that he's not gonna. I don't know, but I guess it depends on if Jeffrey actually goes through with the deed or not. I'm curious to see about that too. But I can really see, like his father just coming through. Honestly, I really could.
Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I used to do this on Half Block a lot. Over or under 50% that you see Will's dad in the first season, in these last 2 episodes at some point.
Oh, in the first season? Over under 50%. I'm gonna say over, but not by much. I'm gonna say like 52%, 55%.
Okay.
Because I feel like they've built it up so much now at this point, and like there's got to be something that will, like he's not the way he was acting. He's not gonna give up on figuring it out, especially since he went to Jeffrey. Like they've got to build all that now in this next episode.
Yeah, you're right.
So he's either gonna figure out where he is, or I'm not sure if he'll like come through, but he's definitely gonna figure out where he is or something. Like I definitely feel like that's gonna happen.
I think.
Wait, what about you? Over
because before you said that, I was thinking I was gonna go under 50% because I was gonna say that maybe season 1 will end where Will just touches down into like the city where his dad is at, and that's just gonna show. You know what I mean? And kind of hit that or something like that. But I was like, you know what? Season 1, and you gotta cap off season 1 of Bel-Air in Bel-Air. So I feel like if they're gonna do anything, if you do see the dad, you're gonna see him in episode 10. So I'm gonna do the same as you. I'm gonna say it's still in the 50s, but I'm gonna say over 50% that we see the dad.
Okay.
In season 1.
That's up.
But yeah, man, let us know what you guys think.
Put out there, man.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think. Over under 50%.
Definitely.
If you guys think that Will's dad is gonna show up in season 1. But Jaren, you got anything else about the show, about Bel-Air?
No, man. Just that I think it's a pretty good show. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I'm curious to see what happens these next 2 episodes. I have actually found myself being oddly kind of hyped to watch this, like
anticipating it.
Corn knows me. I don't anticipate watching TV shows or movies. To be honest, I just don't. If I watch them, if I hear about them, if somebody I trust, like if Corin tells me, "Yo, we gotta watch this because XYZ," I'm watching it. But I mean, there's very few people that I'm like, or very few shows I'm like, oh, I can't wait to watch it. But this show, I'll be like, yeah, I'm ready for another episode, man. Like it'd be when the joint's over, I'm kind of like, man, I hate the way they're releasing these series now with just one episode at a time. Like there's a reason why I don't watch fucking cables because I want all this show now. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the best way to do it, man.
At least me.
Episodic. Because the strategy, I'm pretty right with the strategy about that, but which is they want to keep people talking every week.
I do know,
but you don't want to do what Netflix does and just release everything at once, and then everybody's talking for a weekend and not a month. You know what I mean? Not every week. So,
that's fair.
Jaren ain't lying. He ain't capping because I've never heard this guy said it other than like maybe a sporting, when we were growing up, maybe sporting event, maybe like X Games or something, but never any actual show or movie or anything. So I've never heard Jaren say he's been anticipating anything. So yeah, I'm actually shocked you like.
I'll give you guys a few examples. I'm shocked I like it as much as I do. Honestly, I really am. I didn't think I would, bro. I really didn't. Just to give you guys some examples of some shows that I have been anticipated for, like Mr. Robot, Black Mirror, when that shit was fresh. You know what I'm saying? There's shit. What else? Like Breaking Bad. I was really like hyped for that. I was hyped for Dexter. Like back in the day, I was hyped for those shows. Sons of Anarchy was a good one. I was hyped for. Yeah. Like I was always like shows like that. Like now I would say that those shows are better than Bel-Air, but I'm almost just as hyped for Bel-Air as I was for those shows. So it's just it's interesting. I don't know, but yeah. I think it's a good show. I'm curious to see what these next episodes.
Facts.
What's that?
And then you're gonna have to anticipate season 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I might rewatch the whole first season again. I maybe not though. I'm not that invested, but we'll see.
But Jaren, I want to say thank you for coming through. And here on Hap, it's been a couple years at this point almost.
It's been years some change. Yeah, thanks for having me on though, fam, for sure.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man, most definitely. We got to do this more often, man. We got to do this more often. If we find a show that we like, because we just finished doing the upload review, so make sure you guys go back over to Comrades, hit that like and subscribe over at Comrades, and check out the upload review that we did. We really dissect that one as well. But yeah, man, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe here as well. It's your boy Corn. This is Jaren. We just reviewed Bel-Air episodes 1 through 8. It's Half-Ass Pod. And we, ladies and gentlemen, OUT.